Except for Jason, though, get the water
Okay.
bill.
I don't know how long it'll record for.
Okay.
Okay, so anyway, back to my story. So there's this guy who's a poet, and he's sitting in wherever poets and kind of like adult people who are writers and artists hang out, like let's say a cafe, okay, a coffee shop or something like that. And he kind of realizes, he says, you know what, I think I've just discovered something incredible about the word hurt, okay? H-U-R-T. It's the most poetic word because it doesn't know anything. It has no adherence to time, to past, present, or future. You can say you were hurt, you are hurt, or you will always be hurt. So when you get hurt, emotionally, your soul, it's always there with you. It doesn't matter if it was the past, present, or future. That is the most poetic word. And his buddy down the way, at the other side of the coffee shop is basically like, well, don't you know that hurt is an adjective? That's all you're saying. Let me give you an example. You were stupid. You are stupid. And you will always be stupid.
Like,
So nothing special about the word hurt. It's just an adjective. That's just how adjectives behave. So just the point of that story is basically just to say words, have roles when they appear in sentences. There's nouns, there's adjectives, adverbs. They all do a job. All those parts of speech have a purpose in the sentence. And they can be done wrongly. So those are the kind of things that you corrected. You've done it in the DLL. So for the next thing, I'll pass out this handout. We'll go over the different kinds of parts of speech one at a time so we get familiar with them. Yes? Yeah, go ahead. I think there might be some extras, but we'll see. Yes, thank you, Josh.
Your cell phone? I gotta sneeze.
question.
You really just took my spell, Jason? No. Get stuck.
You need screech, let me screech off.
This man.
Now let's put the spinner away, guys. Whoever's got it.
Okay, so looking at your sheet, you've got, look, here, I'll take the extras. You got them. Did you get one for yourself, Josh? You got one for yourself? Okay, now, so some of this is going to be pretty, familiar to you guys. Hopefully some of it you'll learn something, maybe something you didn't know before. But a noun, okay? A person, place, thing, or idea. Okay, so we've got the examples there of Daniel, the city of London, or maybe a person named London, a table, and hope. Hope being that kind of weird noun where it's not a person, it's not a place, it's kind of a thing, but it's not a thing you can touch.
Right.
It's not actually a thing that you can hold in your hand. Hope is a concept, so that can be a noun as well. Let's look at a sentence. Mary uses a blue pen for her notes. So the ones that are in italics are the nouns. Mary's her name, and it's a proper noun in that case. So does anyone know what a proper noun is? I think you guys do.
A name.
Yeah, it's a name or a title, something like that. You can also say Mr. or Mrs. That would be part of a proper noun. The pen and the notes. Okay. Any questions on that, or any thoughts on nouns? Yes. Nope. Good. Okay. Okay, so that one's pretty basic. The other real basic one that I'll cover real quick is a verb. Okay, a verb in a sentence is basically the action of the sentence. Who is doing what in the sentence? So some examples they have there: to speak, and I'm going to say the to. Okay, before a verb. A lot of times that's how you say really the proper form of the verb. To eat, to speak, to live. But not all verbs are like that. You have some of the verbs that are just describing a state of being, a state of existing. So the dog is angry. Okay, the dog is the noun, but what's the dog doing in the sentence? He's being angry, right? He's existing as an angry dog. So is a verb. So those can get kind of tricky. You know, you can look at a sentence and you're really not seeing an action. You're not seeing a kick or fumble or you know things like that are verbs of running. But sometimes it's a state of being. Is, was. Okay, those kind of words. Okay, I listen to the word and then repeat it. So listen and repeat are the verbs in that sentence. And there are different kinds of verbs as well. We're not going to get too much into them, but there's verbs that command, you know, something like go sit down. Okay, sit would be commanding somebody to sit down. It's still an action, but the person doing the sitting is not the person telling the person to do the sitting. It's the person being told. Okay, any questions about that?
Wake. Put it away. Last chance.
Last chance for what? The phone or the...
Yes.
Huh?
Both.
Oh,
Okay, so any questions about verbs there? Okay, next we'll move up the list a little bit. Pronoun, kind of sounds like noun. Can anyone explain to me, just kind of even off the top of their head or from the sheet, what a pronoun is? Yeah.
How do you describe the noun?
Yeah, it describes a noun. The purpose of a pronoun is really what's the key here. Like, why do we use pronouns? Why do we use things like she and her and him? Yeah, Dave. Yeah, so when you're writing something like a paragraph that's like 5 different sentences, you don't keep saying Adam did this, Adam thought this, the teacher said this to Adam. You can insert some hims and he's in there. So that's the purpose of a pronoun. I want her to dance with me, so there's an example there. Okay, then we got adjectives. Describes, modifies, or gives more information about a noun or a pronoun. Pretty self-explanatory there, but does anyone want to give an example of an adjective? The little girl has a pink hat, but something else, something besides that. Just a word that describes or modifies a noun or pronoun. Say it again? Not quite close. Fast can be an adjective, but in that case, it's not an adjective. It's actually an adverb, which we'll get to. But that person is fast. That's a fast person. That is a fast runner. That would be fast as an adjective. It's describing the runner. If they run fast, it's describing their action of run, so that's an adverb. So, but we'll get to that. But yeah, fast could work. Anyone else? Colors, numbers that describe how many. There's 6 apples, so that's modifying how many apples. That's an adjective. It's a blue sky. The color of the sky is blue, so that's an adjective. It's describing. Okay, and when they say modifying, that can also mean describing. Any questions on any of that? All right. Okay. Adverb modifies a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. It tells how often, where, and when. So adverb, as you can see, it kind of sounds like adjective. They both start with AD. It's kind of the same thing, except it's not describing a noun. It's describing a verb. Or it can describe another adjective. But the example they have there, yesterday I ate my lunch quickly. So yesterday is an adverb because it's describing when. When did you eat your lunch? Yesterday. It's not saying anything if the lunch was good, bad, big, small. It's not saying anything about how fast he ate. It's saying when the lunch was eaten yesterday. Quickly, that's an adverb. What do you notice about that word, quickly, that you see in other words? Yeah, the ly at the end. Mostly when you see a word with ly at the end, it's probably going to be an adverb. And I just used two of them right there, mostly and probably. So that could be a good clue that it's an adverb. If you have to find the adverb in a sentence, so, let's say circle it or something like that, it's not always going to have an ly, but if you see one with an ly, it's a good bet that's an adverb. Let me see if I can give you another example. He waited patiently in line. She ran quickly across the yard. So it's describing how fast the person ran across the yard. So it's describing how the person was waiting in line. It's not describing the person themselves. It's not describing anything like that. It's describing the action that they were doing. Preposition. Anyone want to take a stab at what a preposition is, what the purpose is? It's on there, but maybe if you already know. It's a little bit tricky because they're very familiar words that you see all the time. Okay, the examples they have: at, on, in, from, with, about. It shows the relationship of a noun or pronoun to another word. So if you have a table, yes,
Shows the relationship between a noun or a pronoun.
right, gotcha. Thank you. So if you have, let's say, a table, the keys. The keys have some relation to the table. Are the keys under the table? Are the keys on top of the table? So that's what the preposition is. It describes how one noun relates to another word. It could be to another noun. The keys are on top of the table, two nouns. There's a list of prepositions. There's only a limited number of prepositions that there are. Verbs, there's how many in the English language, how many verbs? I can't even guess, hundreds of thousands maybe. But prepositions, I think there's only something like 40, something like that. So those are some examples. A couple of other examples might be the books are on the table, I dropped the pencil under the table. They use the table example there as well. Okay, conjunction. Pretty easy. It's pretty much a word that connects two other words together. Joins two words, ideas, phrases together and shows how they're connected. So these are also words that you'll be very familiar with that you've seen before. And, okay, I was hot and tired, but this happened, but this happened. Or that's actually not the way to say it. How would you guys say buts in a sentence?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I know where I can find the information. Something like that. It's sort of contrasting two ideas, right? There's also cause and effect, because this happened because this happened. Okay, the grass is wet because it rained. Okay, that's a conjunction. It's not a verb. It's not really an action, right? The word because is that an action? No, it's not an action. It's not a noun either. It's not a thing, person, place. Okay, last one, interjection. A word or phrase that expresses a strong emotion or a short exclamation. These are pretty easy to look for as well. Something like ouch, or watch out, or hey. I think those are the examples they have. Wow. They're words that they don't really have any other function in a piece of writing except to show emotion, to show strong emotion. They could be, like something like watch out is a verb. Watch is a verb, so they could fulfill the role of a verb or something like that. But they're used to express strong emotion. So they make your writing a little more exciting, basically, is what they're doing. So that's those. Hang on to these sheets because, you might need to reference them. We're actually going to play like a... Roosevelt, you have a question? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay. So, can I use one of those trays?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is a game. Some of you might have actually played this game before, maybe in in other classes and other grades you've been in. It's called I Have, Who Has.
I do.
Anyone familiar with that?
Never heard.
Okay, Isaac's played it a little bit.
I never played it.
Mix these up a little bit. So I'll explain how it's played, and then I'll pass them out. So essentially everybody gets one card. When you get really, really good at the game, when a classroom has played the game many times, maybe people can hold like 3 cards at a time. We'll see if that happens, but we'll start with 1 card. And all you're really listening for, Josh. Okay. All you're really listening for is the part on the card that says I have, because that's what you have. There's a part on the bottom that says who has. You don't really need to worry about that part until you've already fulfilled the top part. So you're listening for I have. So someone else is going to read who has this, who has a verb. And if your I have is a verb, then you can, I think we'll start with raising hands first. You can say I have a verb. I have, run, that's a verb. And then it's your turn to read who has. So that way we cycle through everybody's card eventually. I made this game myself. I mean, you can make it in a lot of different ways. So I'll say that there are some I have answers that there might be 2 answers that could do it. Okay? 2 different people might have 2 different answers that could fulfill that answer. So in that case, there's really going to be one that works a little bit better. That's the true correct answer. But I encourage you to still raise your hand if you think you have that one, and we'll see if it still works out. So let me just pick. I'm going to come around and just pick. Oh, sorry. Just pick 1 card out of here. Or it's really just a piece of paper. They're totally random. They're not good ones or bad ones.
Didn't you say you knew what that was?
One second.
Just give it a minute. It'll make sense once we get into it a little bit. Good advice, Isaac.
You got back problems that you do. It's a good game for that.
I think I might have some extras, so I'll hang on to those. I'll leave it. Yeah, I can I don't know if I'll practice. I might not. I might just I might not practice. Okay. My knee hurt. I'm gonna have to try to look at that boy. I hope he's saying gotta practice. Alright, so okay, so I'll start it off. The way it always starts is somebody will start off asking a who has question. Okay? So what you really got to listen for is you got to have in mind your I have. That's on your card. Yes. Can I start? Yeah, actually you can start. Start with your who has.
So I just say I have in the word of quotation?
Well, your I have you can't read yet because you haven't heard it. You can ask your who has them. That's how the game starts.
The top part's an answer.
Eventually it'll come back to you to your I have.
So I just say the word in quotations?
Say what's under who has, like whatever it says.
Oh, okay. So an adjective describing how many?
Okay, an adjective describing how many. So look at your I have. See if you have any adjectives that might describe how many.
On the top of your card, guys.
Okay, I actually have that one. Okay, 6. Like I said, I think I made like 5 extra cards, so I'll play as those. So I have 6. 6 being an adjective describing how many. Who has what part of speech? Okay, what part of speech? So you can look at your sheet. Is the word pretty?
Now, oops.
Pretty. Miss America is very pretty.
Why Miss America?
I don't know, that's anyone? What part of speech is that? What's it describing?
Noun.
Noun. So if it describes a noun, it's what? If it
You
describes.
said it.
Oh,
Yeah.
No.
Aiden said it.
Adjective. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's an adjective. So does anyone have adjective for their I have? Maybe I have it actually. Nope, I don't have it. Someone else has got to have
Who
it.
has adjective on the top of their paper?
It might say adjective describing appearance, something like that. You have that. Okay. There you go. Go ahead and read your I or who has. Definition of an adverb. Well, we've got that on our sheet here. So.
Any help figure out which one's mine? Yeah, no, what do you think?
So let's talk about the
Show it to
definition.
me.
Just said will.
Just wait.
Yeah, so this one is not, you're not looking for, your I have is going to be, it's going to sound like a definition, like a dictionary definition. So an adverb is what? It describes a verb, or describes and modifies a verb or another adjective, something like that. Look at your I have.
Joe Pickerson. That's you.
I know I don't have it.
That's you. That's you. You're tweaking. I think you're in the wrong
Go
place.
ahead and read your I have out loud. Read it out loud.
Modifies a verb.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay. So now you read your has. I don't mind if people aren't getting it right away. I really don't mind. This is the first time we're playing this. You know, if we play 6 rounds, by the 6th round, you guys are going to do it like lightning. But I don't know if we'll have time for that. Or maybe another day we'll do it. But go ahead and read your who has.
Let me read it out.
Just read the bottom part.
Read it, man.
Who has?
Read it.
You just have to read it.
Read it.
You're asking a question. Hey,
all you
class,
have to do
who
is
has this one?
You have to read this.
Preposition. Does that say preposition?
Who has prepositional phrase?
Preposition of a phrase, and then there's a line which means blank, right?
The table.
Blank the table. So you're looking for a preposition that says blank the table, but your word is the blank. Okay. So what can you do with a table? Can you be inside of a table?
Yeah.
I don't think you can really be inside of a table.
Yes, you can.
But what's more likely to be maybe on top of?
Under.
You got it? What do you got? Under. Okay. So I have under, you have under. So go ahead and read your who has.
An adverb that indicates when.
Indicates what?
When?
When. Okay, an adverb indicates when. Well, there's a good example in the handout there, yesterday. So it's not yesterday, I don't think.
So it would be like time. It would be something that shows the time.
Ugh.
That yours
So somebody's I have is going to be a when adverb. Something like
Somebody's gonna ask a
yesterday.
question like, who has the future tense
That would
of?
work. Is that what you have? Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, you guys looking at your cards? I see a lot of people just not even looking at them. Joshua, are you claiming that? Is that an adverb describing when? It is. You're right. It is. You're right. Tomorrow.
Who has linked words? Linked words, phrases, and clauses.
Okay. Links, words, phrases, or clauses. We didn't really go into what a clause is, but it's essentially a part of a sentence. But these things link words together. So this is a definition. Yes.
Spell clauses wrong.
Clauses. That's what I meant. Clauses. Yeah. So this one, your I have should be essentially the definition of. That's close. That's not exactly it because that's linking nouns and pronouns to which kind of like under the table. The table is where. Okay, so what we're looking for is basically those that are like and, but, because. You all have the sheet.
Oh, that's me.
Okay. Read it out loud. Go ahead and read it out loud.
I have because who has a preposition that starts with the letter A.
You have the word because?
Yes.
Okay, you're right. That's a conjunction. So this is an example where you're technically right, but somebody has a better answer in here on their card.
Oh, okay, so
Because it's definition of the ones that link things like because.
okay.
Yours is an example. We're looking for a definition.
Oh, that's what we need.
So what's go ahead. You tell us on your sheet. Where does because show up on the sheet on the handout?
I have
The handout.
Wait, oh, conjunction.
It's a conjunction. Somebody in their I have probably has conjunction in there.
Gabe's being too shy.
All right, cool. Go and read it. Definition of conjunction, is that what it says? All right, so go and read your who has.
A pronoun describing a thing.
A pronoun describing a thing. So pronouns can describe a person. Well, we don't want that. We want a pronoun describes a thing. So it's a shortened version of a noun. It's like saying he, she. This is for a thing. He.
This?
Yeah.
If
so
it's
you
longer,
have-
I'm not gonna say.
So you think
So
that's right?
James has it. So we're back on James' card already?
No.
Does it say it? Oh, eat. Close. Roosevelt has it? Yeah. It, which is that a pronoun?
Rosie ugly.
James.
Like you can say
Is
a building or a tree, but you can also say it. It grows in the park like it's the tree. So read your who has.